Giga Chad.
And it keeps going. And Rogan has to play along.
It's a giant.
Rogan feels so awkward. And look at this guy. What a nerd. What up, everybody? So I posted my little comedian video a few weeks ago about how some of these anti-woke comedians are actually the snowflakes who can't take a joke. It was a very popular video, and I've had people ask me to do other videos on the topics, and I thought about it. I tried to do a Rogan video again, but it was leaning too political, and I'm not a political YouTube, nor do I want to be. And also, I'm doing these other deep dive videos right now that I'm working on, so I don't have the time to do fancy editing, but I still want to give some commentary on some of these comedians that are just so annoying, really. They're very annoying. First, I want to cover Rogan being a bootlicker for billionaires. You know, he had Elon Musk on his show over the weekend, and Elon to me is such an awkward individual, and Rogan just always is licking the boots of these billionaires these days. It's pretty gross. You know, I talked about the human centipede of the Rogan sphere where they all kiss Rogan's ass and it goes down into levels. Well, in the bigger picture, Rogan might still have this big podcast, but when it comes to billionaires, he's at the bottom of the human centipede, taking all their shit. One of the main things that happened with Elon was him trying to tell this joke, and it's so cringe. It's genuinely so cringe. In fact, before we watch it, I honestly feel like I should do a warning because I don't want people to click away from the video. I want you to keep watching, but it's so cringe that you might want to click away. So if you want to just skip ahead, you know, you can do that. Let's listen a little bit.
So the joke is like there's two economists going on a hike in the woods. And they come across a pile of shit, and one economist says to the other, "I'll pay you $100 to eat that shit."
First of all, Elon just laughing at his own bad jokes is already cringe. But then he can't even he's like a little kid sometimes. Like, he seems like he's afraid to say the word shit. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, that's right, I just said shit because I'm so cool. You know, he fits right into that comedy scene in Austin that thinks they are just so edgy and cool because of Rogan's little stand-up place. I also want to say some of these other billionaires that Rogan has kissed their asses this year, like Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel. At least, you know, people like Peter Thiel, Bill Gates, they're like actual Bond villains. They seem like rich Bond villains. They look like rich Bond villains. I mean, Zuckerberg looks more like a villain on the X-Files, probably. But then Elon, who is a villain too, don't get it twisted, he's the biggest villain. That's why he has the most money out of anyone. You have to be a pretty big villain to get all that money. But Elon has the most money in the world and is yet the most awkward of the billionaires. It's like he needs to be accepted. He's just so insecure for someone that has the most money. Let's listen back into him trying to tell a joke.
Then they come across another pile of shit, and the other economist says, "Now I'll pay you $100 to eat the pile of shit."
Laughing again at his own joke.
So he pays the other economist $100 to pile of shit. Then the way they said, "Look, wait a second, we both just ate a pile of shit."
Him just continuing to laugh at this while he's telling the story it's awful. I don't know how anyone can listen to any of these Elon podcasts on Joe Rogan. I mean, I don't know how anyone can listen to Joe Rogan, period. I've never found that guy funny. I don't find his topics very interesting. And then you have Elon on, and he can even talk. Like, listen to Elon here. He literally can't even get his words out, but has the most money in the world.
And we don't have any more extra money. Like.
I mean, what that's how Elon sounds trying to tell this joke. Like, he truly thinks he's so funny here, and he can't even get his jokes out. It's so cringe. This is the cringiest thing you'll see all week probably. But let's finish this joke, and I want you to listen to Rogan laughing like it's one of the funniest things he's heard, because Rogan is a bootlicker for billionaires.
We both you just gave the $100 back to me, and we both ate a pile of shit. This doesn't make any sense. That basically that measure eating shit would count as a job.
Oh my God. Listen to Joe laugh like it's actually funny. And as we discussed last time, Rogan isn't actually funny. He's never been a good comedian. So maybe he actually did find that funny. And what everybody's saying about his little comedy shop down in Austin, he thinks these kind of things are funny maybe. Or he's a bootlicker for billionaires. Probably a little bit of both. This wasn't the only time Rogan laughed at something that wasn't funny. What Elon said. There was another point where Elon made a "that's what she said" joke. Like he's still a teenager. Like he's only 19 years old. Let's make a "that's what she said" joke. And Rogan does a fake laugh and then tries to move on and keep talking. But Elon keeps dwelling on it. So Rogan has to keep laughing along with Elon to keep the billionaire kid happy.
Oh, this is way bigger than I thought it was. This is huge.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
It's gigantic.
Fucking crazy.
That's what she said.
The amount of rockets you're making. Man, I don't know if you
10
could.
back.
Giga Chad.
And it keeps going. And Rogan has to play along.
It's a giant.
Rogan feels so awkward. And look at this guy. What a nerd. It's like truly one of the most cringiest people you will ever see. He's like someone who's drinking for the first time. It's like when you have your first drink and you're getting your first buzz and you think everything's just so funny. You think you're so funny, but really Rogan has to play along like the jock in high school with this nerdy douchebag craziness. Let's move on, though, to Ronda Rousey talking her shit about Joe Rogan with Bert Kreicher. Honestly, I don't know why Ronda's talking shit about Rogan. When Rogan was a commentator in the UFC, he was a big fan of Ronda. But that was a very long time ago. Maybe they have personal beef. Maybe she just hates listening to Rogan, too, because he's so stupid. But she had this to say to Bert, and then I want you to listen to... Bert's going to laugh, but then it's going to get awkward because as we know, as we discussed a few weeks ago, these people don't want to piss off Papa Joe. Can't piss off Papa Joe. He can't take a joke.
Just talking to Joe on the walk over. How long for me to train to beat Ronda? That'll never happen.
He wouldn't know. He's not an expert. He's a fan with an audience.
I mean, some of what Ronda is saying here is true. Rogan has never fought MMA. He is a fan like everyone else. She's not completely wrong there. I do think it's ironic of Ronda talking shit about Rogan and his MMA experience, even though he's been calling MMA for a long time. When Ronda got into pro wrestling, totally shit the bed. She still talks about it like she knows what went wrong and why wrestling didn't work out for her, like it wasn't her fault when it completely was, because she didn't get pro wrestling. But you can say at least Ronda did try pro wrestling. It's true that Rogan has never fought, but she's going to continue on here and say that, and then I want you to listen to Bert get awkward because he doesn't want to talk shit about Rogan. He doesn't want to get in trouble like Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee did.
He fought Taekwondo, right?
He's not fighting.
Well, I'm gonna exit this conversation. No,
I don't want you to get any bad DMs. We need to get out.
Weak. These other comedians are so weak, afraid to piss off Rogan because little bro can't take a joke. He just can't take a joke. We saw that when Callen called him Mr. Scientist.
Mr. Joe Rogan, Mr. Scientist, are you saying that we shouldn't
Don't
have...
do that. Don't call me Mr. Scientist.
I swear, these comedians are some of the most insecure people you will ever see, other than, I guess, Elon Musk. Next up is Bryan Callen, because The story here is Rogan's been recruiting all these comedians to come down to Austin. He will make them more money. It's just a great place to be, free speech and all of that. Well, Callen finally did, along with Brendan Schwab. They brought their podcast down there. They've all moved to Austin. Callen put out a new special. It bombed. Austin hasn't helped him at all. And it seems like he is dreaming about going back to California. Let's listen to this.
Money's not an issue. You can live wherever you want. Where would you go?
I got to pick one place.
You'd probably go California, wouldn't you? Would you go Manhattan?
I'd go Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
I'd go Manhattan Beach with a view of the ocean.
As someone who also just moved out of LA a couple months ago after living there for 4 years, LA it's a great city overall. It does have its problems. Brendan's going to bring up the traffic here. The traffic is terrible. The expense of LA is terrible. I do feel like, of course, the media, the news makes it seem like it's the wild, wild west. And while LA does have its homeless problem, it does. There's areas that are so good. LA is such a big place. There's plenty of great areas to live. Don't want to toot my own horn. I didn't live in no fancy place like Callen was talking about, but I still lived in West LA, and West LA is best LA. I just moved to an East Coast city, and even though I think there's probably more pros here than there are in LA, I would still maybe choose to live in LA if the time came to do that again. But this is, once again, Callen rebelling from Rogan. Even though he is still one of Rogan's biggest sycophants, he is going to bring up some good points about LA, which Rogan would totally dismiss. He's so on the Austin train, but LA is better than Austin. It just is, overall.
But LA is a real city.
It's just the traffic.
LA is
That's the only
it's
thing.
just the
Get rid
traffic.
of the traffic.
But when you're in the bubble of Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, really hard to argue with. So I think about it every 10 minutes.
Oh, really? Moving back?
I just think about that question every 10 minutes.
Thinking about moving back to LA every 10 minutes means Bryan really, really wishes he was back in LA, not stuck in Austin with this failing comedy scene that Rogan has built that is getting redundant, that is unfunny. Just more people starting to, the cracks are being seen in the Rogan sphere. It's a good thing for comedy because all these comedians being sycophants for each other has totally diluted comedy. They all have the same talking points. They're all telling the same jokes. The creativity is dead. Last person to talk shit about is Whitney Cummings. In that video a few weeks ago, we saw her calling her fans racists because of them feeling bad about her going to Saudi Arabia, being a huge hypocrite who was such a big part of the Me Too movement. But the way Saudi has treated women didn't seem to be bad enough for Whitney when she could get a big payday out of it. Well, we're going to see Whitney make up more excuses here about what she said during that podcast and how she is so condescending, thinking she was right in what she said.
Hey, everyone. I just am going to start by saying I righter than I've ever been. Sorry.
And I do want to say this because I could be condescending too. But, if you're going to be condescending about an opinion, at least try and make it funny. And you would think as a comedian, these comedians here, they're not just podcasters. These comedians you would think would try and make it funny. But you can see that deep inside, Whitney is seething when she's talking about this, trying to be condescending against her own fans. That's the thing here. She called her own fans racists. And it's just dumb, but let's listen to her. I just want you all to focus on the seething underneath her condescension. Because she's still pissed. She's one of those thin-skinned comedians.
Because last week, I said what I said. And I said, and people are like, yeah, how dare you say we're racist?
I mean, I think this is her trying to make that
racist.
funny.
Who are you? I'm talking about the messages I read.
But look at that seething
I don't think you were
underneath.
one of them. But did you see the message? If you saw the messages I read, you would have, I think, said the same thing.
And then she's saying we would have called our own fans racist. We would have said the same thing, other than, owning up to our hypocrisy. That's the very least you could attempt to do. And then people either have to accept you owning up to it or not. But, calling your own fan base racist, a choice. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about with these podcast bros and Whitney Cummings. And, these comedians whose podcasts are struggling. I wanted to talk some shit about Bert Kreicher. I considered making a video similar to what I did with the comedians a few weeks ago. But I don't actually dislike Bert. I feel sorry for Bert, though, which maybe is worse. I don't know. But he has some addictions right now that he needs to deal with, but I don't think he's ever going to deal with. The guy is looking rough, and he's adding new addictions to his addictions, and it's not just drinking and eating anymore. It's not good, but so I couldn't get myself to do that. I only want to make videos here when I truly feel some kind of way against a person or a subject, and so yeah, I would like to make more hypocrite comedian videos in the future, but they have to give me the subjects to talk about. I could just do videos like this though and just talk shit in general, but I don't know if it's as popular as a well-edited video. But thank you all for joining me, and I hope the Elon Musk trying to tell a joke wasn't too cringe and you were able to watch this whole video and didn't stop there. But if you did, I understand. Like, when you're more cringe than Whitney Cummings, you got an issue.